be like it's so unfair or such a handicap, and it might be true. But if I, as an English speaking American, went to Spain, I would be told I need to learn how to speak
That's
Spanish.
true. Yes.
If I went to Haiti, I would need to learn Creole.
Otherwise, you won't be able to
Yeah.
converse it with these people. So now let's give them a breakdown of what we are going to do here. This is the introduction. So I think you guys you have a pretty good idea of what both of us are trying to do here. All right. So in a sense is that, guys, we will make sure that moving forward, we will lay out the topic that we are going to talk about.
Okay.
Now we are going to focus on pre-algebra, right?
Yes, because I could tell from my experience in high school that, like Mr. Paul said earlier, there are a lot of assumptions made about students when they come in, and a lot of that is that they hit these pre-algebra like topics when obviously a lot of the kids didn't, or even mastery of your times table. A lot of kids nowadays don't know their times table. We're not going to go over that because that's before pre-algebra, but hopefully from the pre-algebra element, that will help you to easier to see the structure of the algebra, right? You mean like the patterns, right? Mr. Paul, you said like that's a big part of these videos. You wanted these, right, students, anyone who's paying attention, to be cognizant, to be aware of all the patterns you see, not just in math, but how they relate to also to life.
To life. And then that will be very important.
Yeah.
And then as I'm saying to you guys, in pre-algebra, we have like how many topics that we might cover in pre-algebra? 30 to 35 topics.
Yeah.
And when talking about topics, guys, we're going to start from the beginning. And pre-algebra, we're talking about numbers, right?
Types of numbers. Right?
Types of numbers, which is those things that when I went to school, I didn't even pay attention to them. Because I know 1 + 1 = 2, they forced me to learn my timetable. You know, they taught me how to do division, but they never...
Or like negative times negative is
the positive. They never sat me down and to teach me about real numbers, about natural numbers, about whole numbers. What is the difference between a whole numbers and a natural number or a real number, integers and rational numbers, irrational numbers. Those are the scope of the basics of the entire math system.
Because like the whole system is a number system. Like
the whole definitively
on numbers. So you don't even understand the beginning, like the things that you're using to do the math.
Yes.
How can you really be sure you're doing the math correctly?
All right. Now we are going to be in the season of regent.
True.
And you know, when you are in the United States, specifically when you are in New York, there is what we call the regent. The regent, it is when you are in school, and it is a final exam that you are taking. Not only final exam for your class, but it is the state that gives it, and then to make sure that if you are qualified or if whatever, all the material you've been sitting in class learning, if you can actually, is the mastery of it.
Yeah.
If you mastered those things.
And in Haiti, did they have like high school exams?
I left Haiti back then. They do have high school, but not. There is one final exam that you are going to take. It is when you are going for 12th grade to go to secondary school, and then when you are in Reto, Philo, and then they have a national exam that you take.
So there's
and then national exam that you take, and then your name goes into the radio, and then everybody sat in front of the radio to hear their name.
Oh, wow.
But that is a long time. But I left the country since 87, and I don't know if it is still the same. You know, and then now with all the trouble that we are having in Haiti, I don't know.
Because it just seems like, especially nowadays, a lot of people are like, he's bringing up the regents, a lot of people in general, adults and kids, of course, are like, why do we need to have these exams? But it sounds as though they were always, I know in Jamaica, there was also high school exams. Like you had to show that you learned something. You had to show proof that of these 4 years that you were in school,
you mastered them.
You learned something.
That's true. And because otherwise it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Thank you.
Because the teacher could pass you and then therefore you don't know anything.
Correct.
And then we have proof, we have kids that actually graduate high school here, can barely read.
Yeah, they can.
All right.
Read. Yes.
And you wonder how that happened. You understand? So that is why we say that we are going to do this here. So 30 to 35 topics that we are going to cover here, and it's going to be in both language, English and Creole. You taking care of the English part, and then me, I'm taking care of the Creole part. And then the way it's going to be, since Prosper, it is a master teacher in math, I can never take credit. Because Prosper is actually is very good in math. So I don't mind you start the English version first,
Okay.
and then me, I'll come and translate. Because I can never be good as you in math.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think there's always room for improvement. I mean,
No, that's true.
you know.
You know, within all my years of teaching under my belt, and as I said to you, when I saw you, I call you the Renaissance man. Because it's not only in math Mr. Prosper is good at. English, social study, even a little bit of Spanish. I saw you.
Yeah, I try. Yeah.
You try. And then biology, and then even physics and chemistry.
And chemistry. Yeah. I mean, that was a big part of our job with the state. You never knew what students would come in.
Yeah, that's true.
And how we would need to support them.
Yeah, physics and chemistry. And then that gives us like a little bit of jack of all trades.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of doing everything here. And then I am so grateful having this job here. It is not even for the money. It is for the experiences.
Yeah.
That every time I come here, and then you see kids come with different, even kids that were like in third grade. You remember once I had difficulties? I said, man, what's going on?
Yeah, like
everything changed.
Exactly, the way they teach.
The way they taught them, it is very strange. And I had to call you. I said, Prosper, I don't get it. Third grade.
I know. And then it took me a while too. And then I was like, we were all three of us,
Yeah.
the little kids,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
with us too. And we're like, I think they want you to do this.
Yes. We were doing this. And then we had to go back to school again. And then you're talking about third grade math. And then me and Mr. Prosper, we were sitting down trying to figure out what exactly what they want. And then we could have taught that kid very easily.
Yeah, we could have easily gotten him the same
shortcut the answer.
Yeah.
But they want a certain way for us to show it. And then that's show you. And then if
I guess that's why we wanted videos like this, because maybe part of the problem was that we're just so used at that young age to get the answer.
Yes.
And nowadays they want to push us to like understand it more.
Yes.
Right? Like, why is the X 10?
That's true.
Why? If the V is 5, why is the
Yes,
X 10?
And then because when I went to school, it was forbidden to have calculator when you take math test. But now they give these kids the math test with a calculator, even with the formula. Everything is in front of them. Because they are not interested if you remember things. They want to know exactly if you understand the concept.
Yeah, if you can apply.
Can you apply it?
Yeah, you're right.
And that's why it is now. And this is why back then it was paramount for us to learn our math, our multiplication table.
Yeah, because there was no calculator.
There's no calculator back then.
We had to do the calculations.
That's right. But nowadays, they say it's not important. Just give them a calculator as long as they can show.
Yeah. But see, for me, my whole thing, that's why we're starting with numbers. Sure, you have the calculator can do that for you, but if you don't see the patterns of the numbers,
that's true.
Then it's hard for you, for this example up on the board, it's hard for you to see that 3 times 3 is 9, and what? 3 plus 3
is 6.
If he and I can do that,
that's
because
right.
it was put into our head, times table, right? Adding, times table.
Yes. Anyway, kids, as I said, even if you do come here in this country, live in Haiti, and then you come to this country here, although in Haiti we have a different way of teaching you, there are some good things that they gave you back home. Memorization is also important. There are certain things you need to memorize. You still need to learn your timetable. It is very important. Because you never know. You could go somewhere else and they want you a calculator.
Correct.
Because if I am not mistaken, since I have not taught high school kids, when you are taking the regent, the first part, are you allowed with a calculator?
With the regions, yes. You can use a calculator throughout the whole regions.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But to your point, the SATs, which you need to get into
college.
He's right. There's a part where no calculator, you can't use a calculator.
Yeah, the one that deals with mathematics, right? The one that where you need to use your knowledge. You are going to use a calculator when you are going to do the graphic. And it has to be a graphing calculator too. Right, the second part. But the first part, it has to be.
Yeah, if you don't know your timetable, I don't know.
If you don't know your timetable.
And every college, I would hope that lots of people watching this have gotten invigorated and passionate about learning more, and maybe not just stop at high school. It's great if you all graduate, but move on to higher education. Like he and I have master's degrees, But in order to get into college, you need good SAT scores.
You do.
And part of the SATs, like you just brought up, there's a part where there's no calculator. So you need, like, to your point, you need to like get better at doing these thinking mentally, the math mentally.
You have to do the math mentally. And it is what I say. So what do you hope, Mr. Prosper, at the end of our journey here? Because it seems that we are going to be doing this quite often here. And so far, we may be able to do it 3 days out of the week.
Okay.
And at night, around like 7 o'clock, we're going to be live. From 7:30, there may not be a specific time we are going to be live. We may be live at 7 or we may be live at 7:30. But we're going to make our best to go live. And then you guys, if you happen to stumble upon the channel and then you know any Asian kids that are your friends, please forward this link to them. Please share this, to make sure that we will post our schedule. Is not going to be, it's not in black and white. It's not going to be like something very in terms of final, because we're still experimenting, right?
Yeah.
So 7 o'clock, 7:30, we're going to start. So sometime we may start at 7:30 and sometime we may start at 7 o'clock.
Like today, we started a little earlier.
A little earlier,
like
because we were free a little earlier. And sometime, if we are not free a little earlier, if it is 7:30, even if it is 30 minutes, we will come.
Yeah.
And then even if it is 1 or 2 problems that we have to solve, we will come in and do it, guys. Because the goal is to, guys, help you master the high school thing.
But I'm with Mr. Paul, and as in the way that we were doing the pre-algebra and like the different areas and concepts, you should try and follow along from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
Like you could try jumping through it, and Mr. Paul, and he will make sure that what's been recorded or videoed is available to watch. But try and follow along, and say if you come in towards the end of everything, like maybe later down the 10th video, try and start from the beginning.
Yes, start from beginning, and then go back to our video or to our live session, and I'm going to try to upload the video as well in our page, and then you guys, you can follow. And then when we upload them, we are going to put some PDF links and or some PDF example in terms for them to practice. Because every problem that we teach here, we want to put like at least up to 2 or 3 problems for you to practice on your own and make sure based on how you teach you if you can model it.
Exactly.
Because practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Am I right?